One, it's so good to see you all, if I can see you, but it's summer and I know, like Mary said, some of us are on vacation and doing what we do, but we just thought here at Iowa Mentor we would say, "What's up?" at Iowa Mentor, because we've got a lot going on and we thought that we would share those things with you. So it is myself and Jason and Mary, and we wanted to give you updates on our work for you and with you to strengthen the mentor movement in Iowa. So that's what we're up to today. So Mary, you can advance the slide. And so yes, here we are. So I told Mary, I said, man, we should get like cooler pictures. So, maybe we should be in our summer. I don't know if you guys like popsicles or ice cream or what your favorite treat is, but maybe we should do that sometime. Okay, so next slide.
Oh, we don't want to forget.
Oh, that's right.
The three of us that, James, if you want to turn your camera on just for a second.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, James is our Summer Vista, and he's working on some projects with a couple of databases and updating Mentoring Connector, and he's going to talk a little bit more about that later. But I wanted you all to see his face too.
Yes.
And we're excited for all the work he's doing for us. It's amazing.
Yes. In fact, I thought James was on the next slide, but see, that tell you how we try to tag team this. So go ahead. So we wanted to remind you of the mission and vision of Iowa Mentor. We always keep that in front of us. So the mission of Iowa Mentor is to promote and support building quality mentoring relationships throughout the state. And we want to make sure that our programs and systems and policies enforce that. And, our vision, of course, is that we envision an Iowa where every young person has a supportive, caring adult in their lives so that they can strive to be productive and thriving adults. So, our 5-year strategic plan is in front of us all the time. So by 2026, we want all counties in Iowa to be served by a mentoring partner with an increase in percent of quality youth connections across the state. So next slide. Mary, did you want to talk about our work?
So just to remind you, we always talk about these kind of 3 buckets of work too, that we work with formal youth mentoring programs, which most of you on the call represent that. We are matching young people with a mentor. Also working with other youth serving programs and communities, creating a mentoring mindset for adults, working with young people, and also that we do run a career mentoring program for college students out of our office. It's the Future Ready Iowa Mentoring, and Jason will update a little bit on that in a bit. So just jump right into some reminders and just what's been going on in different areas. Just talking about program partners. All of you are program partners, and all of you on the call are or will soon be certified program partners, which involves going through the National Quality Mentoring System assessment every 3 years, and also updating in the Mentoring Connector that you've been working at, and completing the annual survey that you're doing right now too. So we have 36 programs currently in the state that are engaged in the National Quality Mentoring System. We have an additional 25 program partners, and we're trying to cast a wider net. We've been cleaning that up the last couple of years and really looking at levels of engagement programs. And so with the Mentoring Connector, that registration, and looking at annual survey, and that we're just trying to, as I said, we clean it up, but we're also trying to cast a wider net and kind of building that as we look at that goal to continue to build mentoring connections for young people across the state. So I did mention that, the annual survey, which is out right now, and thank you to those that have already completed it. And if you haven't, it was in the last newsletter, and I will very candidly just drop this in the chat right now so you have it right here. I say I'm doing that, and I don't know why I can't get to the chat right now. So never mind. I don't know why I can't share chat. Okay, sorry. It is in the last newsletter. So just a reminder that we ask you to complete this annual survey every year, and we use the data to understand the landscape of mentoring in Iowa and for making the case for mentoring. We want you to be part of that state data and you to understand that you are part of, something bigger of this whole mentoring movement in the state. And it is really important for us to have that accurate information. And again, that's why we keep trying to cast a bigger net. We know there's other mentoring going on across the state that isn't connected with this. So we continue to try to find all of those programs out there too and connect with them. So if you know other youth serving organizations, mentoring organizations in your community that are not connected with this, that's always, something we ask you to do is get them connected with us, and we'll talk about partnership. So one thing that we need to do to become a program partner is get registered in the Mentoring Connector. So James, will you tell folks a little bit about what the Mentoring Connector is?
Yeah, so Mentor National has a website that they try to promote a lot. I know one of their partners is the NBA, so they do a pretty good job of getting their word out. But the Mentor Connector, what it does is if somebody wants to become a mentor, they can go to the website and they can put in their zip code and they can see within a certain radius, maybe 15 miles, 25 miles, they can adjust that as they want. They can see all sorts of different programs that are within their area essentially, and they can look at the details, what kind of youth they serve, what kind of mentoring opportunities there are, and they can inquire about the different organizations and when they do that, the connector will send an email to you guys telling you, hey, this person wants to know more about becoming a mentor. And so a big part of the Mentoring Connector is helping with recruitment efforts. And so that's definitely a big focus for the connector side of things.
Yeah, thanks, James. So that is exactly what it's about, and that's why we use the database also kind of like a registration with us, a program partnership. So just spending some time in there updating that is part of what we do when we're updating partnerships. So if you haven't updated yours lately, you'll be hearing from James to do that. And again, thank you. Many of you have done that already. And we're going to be embedding this in our website too. It's going to be part of the, when we're driving traffic to our website, that it will come all through this database too. So something else we want to remind you of that is the National Mentoring Resource Center. If you have not been on that website lately, it's just so rich with resources, the latest research, all kinds of tools, especially assessment tools are amazing there. Whatever kind of program type that you run, you could look at evidence-based practices in that area just to look. It's just a really rich resource and really user-friendly, and the content is in a format that you are able to digest and really put to use. And it also is where we're able to accept technical assistance requests from programs, and that can be from our program partners such as yourself. And we also receive requests from new organizations, community organizations, others that are looking to start mentoring programs. And Corey is on from Waverly, and I don't know if you're very familiar with that, Corey, but that was a request that came from your community as they chose to restart a mentoring program in the area. And Corey then has been brought on as the director of that program. So just keep in mind those things that you never get to, that you, when we talk about, we do your NQMS and we look at things that you want to strengthen in your program. And then sometimes we just never carve out the space to get to those things. For instance, actually documenting a recruitment plan, actually getting a comms plan down, even policy and procedure manual. We have a lot of experienced staff across the state that have a lot of things in their head that aren't documented. We have templates and we can dedicate time to help you do that work. So just think about that. Don't keep that in mind too. You've become familiar with TA requests to go through NQMS, but that we could get to a lot of other nitty-gritty things in your program that you'd like to do to help strengthen your program. Tony's going to tell us a little bit about OJJDP, those grantees, and what's going on.
Yes, so I am the program officer for the Office of Juvenile Justice Delinquency Prevention Program grant. I know that's a mouthful, but we have had this grant since 2018 and it ends in September of 2022. And Mary, you can advance the slide. if it'll let you. And so this is kind of like the page that you'll see when you go on the site there. And so, yes, this grant does end September of 2022. And so we started it, of course, in 2018. And of course, we had a pandemic, right? So we've had super success despite COVID. I want to give a shout out to all of the subgrantees, the virtual gatherings and trainings that we that we were able to conduct. One of the coolest things I want to bring up is that some of our mentor-mentee matches were able to do museum tours online. So many art museums, of course, were closed during the pandemic, but it allowed a lot of people to do virtual tours. And I thought that was really cool of one of our programs to invite matches to get online and tour all kinds of different art museums as things to do, quiz bowls. We've done volunteer engagement of planting trees together after the derecho. Lots of matches did those kinds of things, and building relationships with law enforcement during, some social justice issues, and them being able to build bikes together. So just lots of quality mentoring relationships were developed. A lot of foster young people saying that their mentor was the one constant thing in their life, despite all of the changes that were happening with what their family life was like, especially during the pandemic. So we have applied for the 2022 OJJDP grant. And so that focus is still on opioid affected youth with a focus on marginalized youth. So lots of good things coming from the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention. So super excited about that.
Yeah, so hopefully, as Tony just said, as we wrap up this grant cycle, that hopefully we will be a recipient and can subgrant that out to the programs again. There's no guarantee. We were very fortunate to get that grant 4 years ago, but we will just wait and see. We find out September 30th and the grant starts on October 1st. That's how they roll. But
Yeah.
we will find out, and we'll let you know as soon as we know that if there's funding available for programs to apply for. So we just wanted to update you a little bit on MentorCon, which is the affiliate network gathering for affiliates such as Iowa Mentor from across the country. And we gathered this year in Rhode Island after a 2-year hiatus. This was the third time's a charm. We finally got out there, and it was really great to see our colleagues from across the country, much like when all of you are able to gather in person in the state too and share all these great resources and ideas. It's just amazing to be with like-minded people that are so excited about doing similar work. These are the two convenings every year, or the mentoring summit in DC in January, which some of you have had the privilege of attending before, and we have, and that is really for all program staff and affiliates. And it's a big crowd. MentorCon is very specific to affiliate staff, so it's nice again to meet with folks that are doing that work that we're doing. So one thing that we did share at MentorCon, we did a StrengthsFinder session with all of affiliate staff from across the country. It was really great to look at our Clifton strengths and look at how that plays out in your work. And Jason, our own Jason, is becoming Clifton Strengths certified. So he's going to talk to you about what that might mean for programs and for his Future Ready Iowa program.
Yeah, thanks, Mary. So I'd be interested to know how many of you on this call have completed strengths. But I think there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 6 of you. How about you, James? Did you ever do strengths? No? We should really remedy that.
I saw 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, we should remedy that.
Couple thumbs up, right?
Yeah.
So strengths. So the Clifton Strengths Assessment, if you're familiar, it really identifies these 5 talents that with nurturing, with investment, can become strengths, and they fall beneath these 4 domains. And so, all of us, I believe, who attended MentorCon completed that. And then there was a workshop. Basically, we'll be doing that same kind of thing with the mentors and mentees in our Future Ready Iowa mentoring program. Difference is there'll be a lot of follow-up, right? So we can use Clifton strengths to drive engagement among matches, which is kind of exciting. As you know, sometimes match engagement can get difficult. And for a program that's entirely virtual, it can be really advantageous to have these resources kind of built in there. So really looking forward to using strengths with individual mentors and mentees as well as groups. So we'll have a group mentoring pilot here. I imagine in IT to start off. And yeah, so that should be interesting. And also with a career mentoring program, like we have, it can really be useful in terms of preparing students for interviews and for that college to career transition. Because I don't know about those of you who've taken it, but I always use my strengths. I list them in my cover letter, and I speak to them in interviews. If I get the chance. My interview for this job seemed like it was 10 minutes, but had I had more time, I would have definitely spoken to my my talents and strengths. And yeah, so I believe that's what the students will be doing with it. So there you go. Driving engagement, building community, building relationships, getting to know yourself better, getting to know others in your community better. So yeah, and how I might use that, how we might use that statewide, we'll see. We'll use our imaginations and we'll get busy.
Thanks, Jason. And Jason does not receive any kickback for promoting strengths. I think a lot of, your programs are strength-based, just generic strength-based. Obviously, that's what you talk about with young people. And this, Clifton Strengths is very specific. But we've all done a lot of different personality tests. That's not what this is. And so again, I feel like I'm selling strengths, but I truly believe in this. I do, because it is really, there's a lot more science behind this too. So if you've looked into strengths, I know some of you do use it in your organization and have, do lead with strengths. So I just encourage you to look into that if you haven't, and we'll look at how we can bring it, as Jason said. And Tony's going to talk about another piece of MentorCon.
Yes. So when we were in Rhode Island at MentorCon, one of the other workshops we worked on was the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Plan. And so Mentor National is a super, how do I want to say, they are very deeply convicted and involved in wanting to make sure that young people have a space and a voice, especially when it comes to DEI. And so they do have what's called a CORE, which is a committee on racial equity. And Jason, you serve on that committee. So it was a good time for all of the affiliates to find out and to recognize what CORE is working on when it comes to racial equity. And so they have come up with, meaning Mentor, has come up with a racial equity action plan. And so you can see it here. It's kind of got this triangle. It kind of gives you dates on how they've started with their foundation last year, and they're building on their plan. And now we are at this time where we're trying to prepare for action. And they're using the guiding principles to the left. So those are the ones on accountability, relationships, activism, continuous learning, and integrity. And we connect this all to our young people who, definitely we need to be thinking about the ways that we shape these young people to be advocates for themselves, to make sure that when they are out in the world, that there is this, that they understand who they are, whose they are, and how they're developing and bringing their strengths to the table. So those are the things that we talked about. We talked about our data, how we're going to collect those things. And so it's a continued work. So this took a great deal of time for us to talk these things out, because each affiliate, of course, as you know, each state is different. And so we were able to come together and talk about these guiding principles. So with that, Iowa Mentor, well, let me go back. So Mentor National, because of social justice and their work with Starbucks, their work with the NFL, their work with City Foundation, they were able to give Iowa Mentor a small amount of money to do some fact finding in Mentor DEI. And so what Iowa Mentor did was we chose Polk County to have some community conversations about the diversity and equity and inclusion of BIPOC youth. So BIPOC is Black, Indigenous, people of color. And so we decided to frame our grant to host these community conversations, to promote Iowa Mentor. What we found was there were a lot of programs in Polk County that may not know Iowa Mentor. We, of course, are known, we like to think that we're known all across the state, but there are some non-traditional programs that are not exactly like, one-on-one matches. They do a lot of creative things. So we were able to promote Iowa Mentor to them. We want to engage youth as a movement leaders and increase the mentoring mindset for adults, maybe who are working with youth in certain organizations, and they don't think that they're mentoring, but they really are mentoring. So once we did that, we hosted these conversations, and then these are the things overall that were the top things that I'm sure when you guys look at this list, these are the top things that you realize that are things that you need help with. Recruitment. So, these mentoring programs and organizations find that finding mentors who look like the population they represent is needed and is most impactful. And so transportation, you guys know this too, that young people who want to attend the program activities, can they get there? Sometimes that is a challenge. Of course, sustainable funding, having that funding that's always coming in. And then training your volunteers, mentor staff, and mentors and staff who know how to connect with these young people. So these are the things that we found when we did this mentoring grant. We were super excited to find out these things because there are a lot of things that Iowa Mentor can do to help. So we came up with this resource called the Iowa Mentor DEI Engagement. And so what we have, one of the things that we will be rolling out is that it's all about, for Iowa Mentor, mentor engagement, youth engagement, parent or guardian engagement, and community engagement. And so in all those things that we do, instead of when things happen in our community or when we find that there is a DEI issue, instead of just taking DEI off a shelf and opening the box, we think of DEI as a circle that makes the mentoring engagement, the youth engagement, the parent engagement, and the community engagement go around. So we're going to use it in every area of our work. So more to come on that.
Yes, and we doing all this work here, Tony's being way too modest. This is all her. And I really, this is amazing, this DEI engagement. And yeah, a lot more to come with that too, just a program assessment or kind of questions to ask your program Tony's come up with, which will be really awesome to assess where you are with your DEI work. Like you said, more to come. Just wanted to mention that through Mentor, again, we do have an opportunity for, they received Mackenzie Scott grant last year. That Mackenzie Scott's associated with Amazon, and I know Big Brothers Big Sisters National just received a big Mackenzie Scott grant this year too. So Mentor is generously sharing that with affiliates, and so we are applying for that right now, and we will receive it. It's guaranteed. It's just what it's going to go for, and we're going to do that to fund part of a position too. And there will be a new DEI grant coming out for Mentor too, so that the combination of those two things will help us to at least fund part of a position, because we're always looking for money because we don't really have too much from the state. So we look other places too. And so Jason is going to tell us more about Future Ready Iowa and how that might intersect with the work you do and connecting with the young people that you serve too.
Thanks, Mary.
Did you like that transition? Just jump right in. Go.
Yeah, I was like, oh, is that what I'm going to do? Okay, so yeah, Future Ready Iowa mentoring. I went ahead and skipped to this slide. So, yeah, for those of you who are unaware of what it is, for whatever reason, in case you haven't heard me talk about it before, it's a truly first of its kind program that connects aspiring professionals, so college students, with a network of career professionals throughout Iowa. So really to assist with that college to career transition, like I talked about before, we've had 150 students enroll. So there are 17 eligible colleges. We've got 15 who enrolled in this career mentoring program. So ideally, we've got students from all 17 colleges. That's a goal. We'll get there. Earlier on, we talked about that long-term goal, right? That strategic goal of having, of reaching all 99 counties. So with this program, we can absolutely do that. And students, mentors, they don't have to be in the same place. That's what's pretty cool about it. I can have, a student on, the eastern side of the state, say at Scott Community College, and connect them with someone who's in Council Bluffs, so that's the cool thing about it. I think that's really what sets it apart. We've got an e-mentoring platform to take care of things. Program goals, connecting students and college success coaches. The college success coaches are, they're AmeriCorps members, and really their focus is on, retention of students, right? It's an academic focus. Whereas the professionals in the workforce, that's that other end of things. I mean, they can help with retention and connecting what they're learning inside of the classroom with what they're going to need to know outside of it and all that, applying that knowledge and those skills. But really, it's more a focus on preparing for the next step. So academic professional barriers, improving job placement percentages in high demand fields, connecting employers with a career ready workforce. I mean, if you have any questions about it, you could speak up at any time, but yeah, hopefully it's makes sense. So how you could help, there's one. So to clarify, let me see this right quick. So to clarify, a student has to be enrolled. Yes, that is true. Yeah, you know what? Expanding it would be great. I mean, heck, I'd be on board for that. In terms of trades, I mean, we do, obviously it's community colleges. So, we've got 15 community colleges plus 2 nursing colleges. So Mercy College of Health Sciences here in Des Moines, and then there's St. Luke's out on the western side of the state. But yeah, examples of fields would be like welding, plumbing, HVAC. The biggest ones are IT and healthcare. So nursing, medical coding, medical secretary, all that stuff. There's dental hygiene. I mean, it's really diverse. There's a list on Iowa College Aid's website.
I just dropped the high demand occupations in there, Jason.
Cool, thank you. So if you have a last dollar scholarship, you're eligible. And truth be told, if there's a last dollar scholar who maybe they stop out or they drop out for whatever reason, because life happens, maybe they have a child or something, and it just becomes too overwhelming to be in school. Say they're no longer a last dollar scholar, I will still connect them. It's not like you're going to abandon a student, just because they're taking a break. Or even in the case if so we had a student recently who decided he no longer wanted to pursue a career in IT. He wanted to instead pursue a career in marketing. I said, hey, just update your profile. As it turns out, I have a mentor in that field and I'll connect you. That's good for us. It's good for you. Let's do it. Yeah. I mean, really, it's about, reaching, tomorrow's workforce today, right? So that's what I'm all about. So the resources, yeah, I mean, I'm glad to share any resources that we use. You know, as I mentioned, we need mentors everywhere. Sometimes it's helpful if I've got mentors in communities, like rural communities. I don't have a lot of those. I have, predominantly mentors in like the Des Moines Metro and like Iowa City, Cedar Rapids, places where we have a presence and, a network already. But it's great to have mentors in other places too. So, I mean, I think everyone here has connections in high demand fields throughout the state. So, I mean, sharing these opportunities, I'd be grateful if you could do that. Also, professional development opportunities, if you're aware of opportunities that these students could benefit from, like I said, very broad in terms of the fields. And social media posts, when we put those up, just like we will do for you, we want to share the heck out of those. So, if there's something that you share and you want more attention, totally let us know. Like any of us, Mary, Tony, myself, I mean, I've got a pretty broad network, like on LinkedIn. I also do, Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. Iowa Mentor, Mary, as far as I know, we don't have an Instagram yet, right?
No, just Facebook.
Hey, we could start one at any day, though. I got an intern that would love
Yeah,
to do that.
yeah, we can start it. We have to maintain it. So anyway.
Just saying, let's do this thing. We have to chest thump once in a while, and we would love to do that for your programs, and I'm confident you would do the same for us. As examples, we just put something out there on social media today. We're gonna do some editing this afternoon, but yeah, I think we posted on Instagram and LinkedIn. But the slides I had just shared, including the last one, 81 mentors currently enrolled in the following sectors. So yeah, this is something you could share. For example, there's a link for folks to learn more or enroll as a mentor or as a mentee. And we do have mentors in healthcare, IT, advanced manufacturing, business, education, construction, and engineering. So yeah, plenty of trades. And then we'll be sharing, testimonials going forward. So testimonials from both mentors and mentees. This is a sample from Dave Nelson. I guess what I'm really proud of is that we've got some pretty solid mentors who are, presidents, CEOs, CIOs, VPs, whatever. So I just, I think it's, a valuable program. The mentors get a lot out of it, just as they do mentoring in your programs. So, I mean, yeah, call to action. Let's all help one another recruit. Let's all keep doing good work together. So, yeah. And again, I'll emphasize whatever you need, let us know.
Thanks, Jason. And yes, they're all recruiting their own mentors and they're like, yeah, now I'm recruiting for Jason too. But this is very specific kind of mentoring and that it might appeal to folks too. And, you do that if you're in a community with other mentoring programs too, that if a volunteer isn't a fit for your program, there might be a fit for another program too. And I'm sure there are people on this call right now that could commit to this mentoring too, Jason, because it's virtual and it's not a huge lift. So, and it's a great, I appreciate the questions, connecting with the mentees. It's really kind of a great handoff as a mentee ages out of your program. If they're going on and pursuing, enrolled in any of these programs, that it's just another way to connect them with another mentor going forward. I always think that's really important when they age out of your programs to help them find other mentors in their life as well. So a couple other opportunities coming up. Volunteer Iowa does have a new senior corps project that is going to have some focus on youth mentoring programs. So these would be senior, and I could qualify for this, seniors in your community that want to volunteer with the senior corps programs. It could be, there will be foster grandparents and some RSVP volunteers, but there will be a specific program focus out of this program to connect with mentoring programs in your community. So think about how you might be open to having a senior corps member, and it might even be such a thing that you could have a member, they would have a lot of time to dedicate, so you might match them with several mentees. So think about that. It'd be looking at your mentors in a little different way. And I know we've had foster grandparent programs part of discussions before, and they talk about the stipends they give to their mentors. And I know other programs are like, wow, that's nice. They get to pay their mentors. Well, we're going to be offering a similar opportunity to more programs across the state too. So we're just bringing somebody on with that now. So you'll be looking for some more information on that. And this made me think of, just as we were talking, I don't know if any of you saw the big announcement last week. It's the National Student Success Project. It came out really earlier in the year, and just connecting a bunch of volunteers, AmeriCorps programs. Mentor National is a part of this, really focusing on student success, and looking at mentoring and tutoring is really a huge focus of it. So there is going to be some funding that comes out of AmeriCorps National as well, that I think is going to come through Senior Corps and our volunteer centers. So I don't know what that means yet, but you know that I'm working on how we're going to get some of that money towards mentoring too, because we're going to be looking at that as Volunteer Iowa. So that just came out last week. But if you haven't been on that site, National Student Success, it's really exciting. People can say they're interested, and it connects. I'm pretty sure it connects to the Mentoring Connector database for mentoring. I know for AmeriCorps it connects to AmeriCorps' national portal too. So just some other exciting, really new news that I forgot to even drop in this till we were talking in this conversation. So I will pass it to Tony to talk about another exciting project coming out of Mentor National.
It helps if I take myself off mute. No, we've been talking about this for maybe it could be a year, Mary, maybe January, about this body of work called Become a Better Mentor: Strategies to Be There for Young People. And the whole guide is available and can be downloaded. But what is so great is that we are planning on helping all of you out with bringing little tidbits of this to help people who want to mentor. So I'm looking forward to an overview of this. I think you can advance the slide, Mary. I think that's the next one. Yeah, so we're going to have some, the Mentor National is going to send out a trainer to do in-person training in September. So these are the dates, more details to come, but we're hoping that this Become a Better Mentor, these strategies, which are fantastic, will help your organizations help the community know what mentoring is. In no way will this training take over your orientation or how mentors come into your program and they need to learn about how your program or organization does things. But this is a good way for them to maybe someone who is interested in volunteering and becoming a mentor, understand what mentoring is, understand the mentoring mindset, understand what mentoring programs and organizations are going to ask of them right out the gate. And they may, Mary and I and Jason are talking about perhaps a certificate of completion, so that when they are done with this training that we'll develop, that perhaps, you will have a strong mentor who will be in your program for quite some time.
Yeah, it's kind of the elements for mentors themselves. So exciting stuff. So you're familiar with us talking with you or at you, the trainings we do and the technical assistance we provide. But another thing we do is we're always just spreading the word about mentoring to a lot of other groups. So these are just some of the groups we talked with lately. Either we're trying to engage more partners throughout the state, or we're trying to spread the word about the work that Iowa Mentor is doing, raising it on the national level too. So just know that we're out there doing that kind of work as well. I thought of another thing. We could go on and on sharing things too. When you talked about become a better mentor, coming out for Mentor, there's so much research that is going on nationally too. And I was just on the call with the research director for Mentor National, and I didn't know that this was even out in the field. They'd done a follow-up to with mentees and former mentees, the study that came out about the mentoring gap, which has been a good 8 years ago now. So they just updated that, and he's going to have some, I think they're going to try to share that at the summit. They'll have some preliminary research this fall, but they followed up with like the 18 to 24-year-olds and the 24 to 29-year-olds, and just, some really interesting findings about the mentoring gap, and especially it's going to be over COVID times. So that will be certainly influential in that, in those outcomes as well. So, Tony, I see you have one other thing to talk about. We're going to share success stories, but how about if we share about the SubHub too?
Oh, yeah, yeah, totally. So, I know this is going to make you all laugh, but we have been trying so hard to try and connect us somehow. And we've tried teams, we've tried channels, we've tried all kinds of things, right? Well, ta-da. I'm shooting for September of the Iowa Mentor SubHub. So it kind of looked like this. This is Maryland, DC's SubHub. And it's kind of like, okay, well, let's just all say it. It's kind of like Facebook. But what I love and what I wanted to share here is that look at the lovely bar at the top. So have you ever had to like go find the Iowa Mentor newsletter to find all of the links to like the wonderful webinars and trainings? Well, it would be here. And all those resources where you're like, gosh, Tony, I know you sent that to me, but now I can't find it. Well, guess what? It would be under the resources. And then let's say you wanted to discuss what's happening in Eastern Iowa with the mentoring programs in Western Iowa. Well, you could start a discussion. So I'm looking forward to this. And we can have blogs and groups and post events. And it should just work just like your social media works. So I'm looking forward to it. So that's my little plug for the Iowa Mentor SubHub.
Okay, and everyone's always interested. Programs always want to get engaged. They always want to know what their programs are doing. It's usually email us, then we connect you with someone. Yeah, this is it. And you, those of you that have been around a while, as Tony said, we've tried different things. Everybody wants to do this. So we're going to build this out. We're going to really work on getting everybody engaged. It's only as good as the people that are using it, as much as you choose to engage. But we really think it's important, or else we wouldn't keep trying. And just another way to engage. I'm so excited that we're re-energizing with the Leadership Council. You all saw that the call went out for applications for that, and we had a lot of great response from across the state, and we are meeting next week with these folks. Jessica, I think she popped on. She's hanging on with us through COVID. She's going to be our have our continuity from the old Leadership Council, and then the rest of the folks on here will be the representatives on the Leadership Council for this year, and then we're going to have to stagger these, and we'll bring some more folks on and keep rotating in and providing some guidance to us for how we can serve programs across the state, and then also helping us push out information across the state too. So we thank all of those folks that stepped up to that call. And now I'm going to pop back to this. Let's hear, we've been talking at you so much. Let's hear some exciting things going on with you. What's your news? If we're going to say what's up with, insert your program name. Again, tell us something that you've were excited about this past school year, if you will, something that's going on this summer, or something you're looking forward to as the new school year approaches. I heard Tony say September, and I don't know if you know it's middle of July already, Tony. So I am just going to, we just have this group here. I'm just going to go down, of course, and just call on our friends here, because I know you all have great things to share. I know that Anna is not going to be shy, so she would share. If you have a microphone enough, sometimes that's an issue. Anna Sundstrom from Everybody Wins. Are you able to share something from your program?
Yes. So in addition to the SEL stuff I've been working on, we've, for the first time since I believe 2018 or 2019, we've been able to do a summer mentoring program with about 21 students and mentors. So yeah, we try to do one every summer, but does or doesn't work sometimes. So we've been able to do that in person in Des Moines at one of our schools. So that's something I'm happy to talk about.
That is so exciting. Yes. Oh my gosh. Thanks, Anna. How about Delita?
The hard part's deciding what to share. I think some numbers that I just looked at yesterday, I mean, clearly, this probably happened across the board with people. Our demand for mentors rose, and volunteers walking through the door went down, down. So we have this huge gap. So we did invest in a staff position solely focused on recruitment. It actually was a previous employee of ours. And in the 6 months, July to December of last year, I forget how many inquiries we had, but from January to June of this year, we've increased our inquiries by 55%. So that's very exciting and shows that you have to make the investment and focus on those strategies and those efforts. And I think the other thing too is we've really worked hard on diversifying our board of directors. And I believe, I don't know the exact percentage, but we have about 40% of our members are BIPOC.
That's great, Delita. And are those board members helping open new doors too, to recruit new mentors as well?
Yes and no. I just think they bring a different perspective.
Oh, absolutely.
And actually some expertise that we don't already have. And I think it remains to be seen whether or not, I mean, certainly we're going to be more engaged in those communities, and we'll see if that does impact our increase in terms of mentors of color.
Great, thanks. Felicia, what's your good news?
I apologize. I'm multitasking right now.
Felicia, I have to tell you, I asked you what the good news is, and my Alexa is talking back to me.
Wonder why.
But it's you. Felicia must sound like Alexa. Go ahead.
You're sharing success stories. We started a kind of third program within our program this past year. So we started a community-based program. So it's been a little bit of a challenge and some hiccups, but I think that it is it's filling a need in the communities we serve, and we've actually gotten a lot of male mentors engaged through community-based, more so than the school-based. So it's good to make connections that way.
Well, that is great. Thanks, Felicia. Nicole, got all kinds of new and exciting things because you've not been at your program long.
So I guess my success story right now would just be that since starting in January, just like this last month, I onboarded 3 new matches kind of within a very short time. So things are starting to move forward and we're building numbers again.
Thanks, Nicole. And Jessica.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Hi.
I guess my success story is I'm halfway done with reports that are due tomorrow.
And you still joined us. Yay.
I needed a break. I guess our biggest success this year, like it's sort of back to normal. We've met our match goal. We served, I think, 111 matches this last year. So hoping just to build on that more and get our community-based numbers back up.
Wow, that is great. Thanks. You know those numbers because you're inserting them in reports right now.
Yep, they're on. Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, and I think you joined right when we were talking about OJJDP, and then you're on, so we could talk about it with Leadership Council. Yay.
Yay. I did see that.
Yes, Felicia, I just totally put you on the spot. We didn't hear any people, kids, and dogs, so you did a fine job. Annie, what's going on exciting in Dubuque?
So yeah, similar. We just got our reports done, so that's always nice. Um, we've been having a decent amount of people that have been interested, especially on the mentoring side, but mostly women. So actually, we need more female mentees because we actually have mentors now as a waiting list instead of mentees on that side, which is a good problem to have. But just doing recruitment that way. Um, yeah, so I think those are kind of and it's just nice to have kind of a fresh reset and everything feels kind of back to normal since COVID to get to work on the grant goals for this coming year.
Right, right. Thanks, Annie.
Mhm.
Susan. We can't hear you. You're just really, really quiet. So I don't know if you want to just put something in chat. I'm sorry. Thanks. While we're waiting for you, to put something in. Lynn, how about you?
Well, we have been just kind of winding up our school year recently, but finding that our relationships are strong in our schools, which has really been positive for us. We also are growing into a new school district. So that's a new positive. We're needing to just put a plan forth as to what we need to be doing when the month of August hits, because we want to be able to meet with counselors from those buildings. We want to be able to meet again with school staff about how do they make referrals and those kinds of things. So I think some of the things that have happened that just started to help us to put plans in place for our next steps for this fall, including our recruitment plans. We've got some of that that we've worked off of last year. We kind of know what's where we want to go with this, and so it's just helping us to put that plan down. So that's the beginning point of everything for a start of a next year. So it's good.
Exciting stuff. Thanks, Lynn. And we'll let Susan type away. Is there anyone that I skipped or anybody thought of something else they wanted to make sure they added? If not, we'll just hop ahead to some upcoming trainings. Some of these were in the newsletter, but some other national trainings that have popped up since then too, if we didn't see these. Tony, were there ones that you wanted to highlight here?
Yeah.
Tony. Oh, there
Yeah,
you go.
no,
Good.
I'm sorry. Yep. So the one that's in red is the one that didn't make the newsletter. So this is the one I'm putting the Zoom registration in the chat.
Great.
And so this is the mentoring in the new normal, maximizing participant engagement in these COVID. I love how we're getting in these times. So it's Thursday, July 28th at noon. So if you're interested, there is a registration in the chat.
Thanks, Tony. And just to point out the state service plan virtual listening session, that is the plan for all of Volunteer Iowa. We want to make sure mentoring has a voice in there too. And if you didn't fill out, there was an online piece that you could fill out, or if you are able to join this session too, all you need to talk about is the needs in your community and just say mentoring, 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 mentoring. That's all we need. So that'd be great. I should have stopped recording before I said that, but that's okay. I am going to stop this recording.